So my research topic is about arming pilots, and the Transportation Security Administration is the key administration or organization that covers this topic. And the Federal Flight Deck Officer Association is a program that was actually created to arm pilots after 9/11. My interest in this topic is that I support the Second Amendment, and I've also had a pretty significant background in having guns because my dad has a carry permit and I've been around them my whole life, so I know a lot about them. This topic has also been excluded from the news. Of course, like back around 2002 when this was all going on, it was in the news, but recently it hasn't been like a hot topic. And I also would have the opportunity to learn more about arming pilots because I really didn't even know that this program was in place. So, next slide. Some background and context is that after the 9/11 attacks, the TSA was created in response to the security threats to air transportation. And so the arming pilots was an additional safety implementation based on the nature of the attacks because the terrorists were trying to take over in the cockpit specifically and take over control of the plane. And this program only allows pilots to carry the weapon in the cockpit, which is a key point in this research project. So my research question is, how does the Federal Flight Deck Officer Program, which was created in 2002 that armed trained pilots, impact society's view of gun rights? And so some questions that I came up from just researching this and reading a lot of articles over this topic is the program a good idea? Should the program be expanded? And by expanded meaning, should pilots be able to carry their weapon in airport terminals and in the cabin of the airplane instead of just in the cockpit? Which also brings up the question of why shouldn't citizens with carry permits be able to carry on flights if the pilots can carry their weapons when they're technically off duty in the cabin? So all of these questions will be answered based upon the success of the program, safety and training of the pilots, political forces, and common sense. So some of the additional questions that I have about my research project is how much information to include, because there's a lot of stuff that can go in my research project, but I need to figure out which ones I want to have in there and also how to tie them together. But I also have a lot of research still to do. So, and I just included some images at the end just to kind of show you like the body of the big commercial jet, and then this here is the cockpit. And when I was doing a lot of reading on this, the term cockpit and flight deck were used, and in the program title, it's the Federal Flight Deck Officer Program. And so a lot of people think, oh, flight deck means the whole entire plane, but it's actually just the cockpit. And so the cabin is different than the cockpit and the flight deck. And this is Boeing 747. The typical 3-class seating holds 416 people, which is, I think, the largest passenger jet that Boeing makes. So I was just thinking that was an important aspect to include, because the pilots are in charge of 416 people at any given